Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Discord channel. It is linked in the description below. You can find updates there, chat with other traders. I share some of my ideas there, so do other people, and of course you can do that as well. So if you are interested to join a community, chat with other traders, discuss different ideas, head over to the Discord linked in the description and also at the top of the chat. But welcome back to the stream, guys. Hope everyone is well. As always, we'll go through the USD side of things first, take a look at the DXY, Euro USD, of course, different USD majors. We'll go through gold and silver, of course. Any requests, let me know, put it in the chat. We'll discuss as always. So any markets you're looking to trade or you just want my opinion, of course, let me know time frames as well, which you're looking to trade on as well, so I can be a bit more use. Tommy, we'll get to silver. What's up, Woggy? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good day, my man. So yeah, we'll start with DXY, but I'll go through the USD majors and we'll get to gold and silver as well. But since we last spoke, excuse me, not a lot has happened. The market's been pretty flat, and I think we're just waiting for a bit of a catalyst to get the ball rolling. We've got CPI later today. Is it today or tomorrow? I think it's today. Yeah, CPI later today, 1:30 UK time, so look out for that. But we got a news catalyst this afternoon. We've got the Fed next week as well, so I think it's going to be one of those two to get the ball rolling for the dollar. Other than that, it's been pretty flat. I mean, my bias is still in play in terms of where I'm expecting the US dollar to end up. As I zoom out to the higher time frames, you can see overall the market has been falling here, so I'm pretty bearish on the pair as a whole. Dropping to the 4-hour chart, there's no difference other than the fact that we're just kind of fading at support. As long as price remains below this swing low, I retain that bearish bias, expecting us to end up back at those lows eventually. I was looking this week to see if we can break higher first, put another lower high and then come back down, which I'm still kind of hoping for, because that would give me some nice opportunities on euro, pound potentially, some of the other USD pairs I'm looking at, dollar CHF as well. So a push up would be nice, kind of getting away from all the noise, maybe taking out some of these highs here, which would have had some orders above them. So we might push the upside into fresh highs, put another lower high in, like we did over there, and then see the follow through back into the lows and maybe further as well. Or of course, we might just continue to consolidate here between resistance and support. And again, wait for the news to give us that breakout, whether it's up or down. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But all in all, USD is just very, very flat in here. So I'm not really too bothered about trying to find opportunities within this area. If you are looking to try and get involved, then shorting high and buying low makes the most sense. I would avoid trying to look for entries in the middle of the range. That's where the most speculation is. That's where the most indecision is. And you're going to make it difficult for yourself. But other than that, dollar is still pretty flat. But overall, the market is still very bearish. And likewise with Europe, just the opposite pretty much. Overall, the market is still bullish. Still looking for a push back into the high at 1.156. As I zoom out to the daily chart, you can see the uptrend at play. We've just been very corrective, very slow. Which is where the kind of doubts are coming for euro. This is a very corrective behavior, not necessarily associated with a healthy trending market. You know, if you compare the previous swings we've seen to now, there's a clear difference. There's a clear changing characteristic in terms of how the market is trending. So we can tell the market is, you know, looking to fall over soon. It might go and take the highs out first before we do have a bit of a drop. We might see the drop before that and push down, then push up. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But what I'm looking for is similar to what I just mentioned on the DXY, kind of price dropping lower, putting another higher low in, and then hopefully trying to catch some buys afterwards. As long as price stays above this swing low, I stay bullish. and I'm looking for another high low to form for that continuation, because we're failing at resistance here, so there's a clear kind of struggle. And again, maybe CPI is going to give us the breakout to the upside and set us on our way. I would actually like to see if CPI can push us down first, and then I can collect some buys later on. Of course, as long as we stay above that low. If price does take out this low, then I will lose that bias and become bearish, or at least neutral. But for now, still looking for upside. There's a pretty significant level if you look to our left here on the 4-hour chart, just above 1.125. I'm looking to see if we can grab a retest of that level before we get on our way. But just not really interested within this here, especially with CPI coming this afternoon. I think that's asking for some trouble. But overall, market is still looking bullish to me, just very, very tired. Pound USD, kind of the same situation. Overall, still very much a bullish market. I zoom out, I can see the trend on the daily chart is very, very clear to see. Of course, recently we broke through some major swing highs to our left, which of course makes the market pretty bullish. And as long as we stay above that, I will keep that bullish bias for now. I did talk about a push back into the lows here yesterday, because we did break out the channel. So we had this ascending channel here, which we just about broke out of last week. We of course respected the highs as well last week. Massive wick rejection and an okay-ish bearish candle closure shortly afterwards. So that's kind of giving us the indication that we're failing at the highs. Perhaps we could be looking at a deeper pullback. And for the most part, we have had one. I was looking to see if we can come a little bit deeper before potentially pushing up. I still am looking for that same move as well. So again, still very bullish for pound. We've got some really critical support below us here at 1.134. 1.34, sorry. There's no actual one. At 1.34, and that could still very much give us a nice bounce to continue that momentum. So overall, pound USD still bullish. As long as 1.34 remains above that level, I do think we can continue higher. If price does break through, like I said, I will probably switch the bias around. We could be looking at a really big fake out above that major resistance, and there could be somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern for a reversal. So for now, hold that support. Not only is there buying opportunities, but it keeps me bullish. Dollar CAD, I'm actually looking for buys for dollar CAD. I'm not really interested to sell it anymore. I know it does kind of go against my buys for the DXY, but I'm kind of viewing it more as a hedge of my bias, because of course I could be wrong. Just because I'm looking for dollar weakness doesn't mean that's guaranteed going to happen. And dollar CAD might present some nice opportunities to go long on the dollar. We are coming back into a very big area of demand. Price had a brief pause here, ripped to the upside with a lot of momentum. Now it looks like we're about to test that zone again. And you can see for the most part, we are becoming quite corrective now with dollar CAD. So I do think a bit of a bounce is likely at some point. The difficult part is just trying to catch that bounce and ride it higher. At the moment, price overall still quite corrective. So I do think there's still a bit more downside to be had. But if I can see some double bottom, break of structure, I'm looking for these higher lows to try and catch. Oh, missed it there. For these equal lows or higher lows to try and catch and anticipate price pulling back. And again, not looking for anything crazy. If I can trade it back to some of these highs, maybe even this high here, I'll call it a day. That'll already be a very nice trade if I can catch that move. But yeah, dollar CAD, I am waiting for buying opportunities for this one. Not quite at the zone yet, or at least deep enough for me to be looking for entries. So still waiting for a little bit more of a sell-off there for dollar CAD. Then perhaps maybe towards the end of the week or at the start of next week, we could be discussing some buying opportunities on dollar CAD. In terms of Aussie dollar, I'm looking to short this one as well. Again, kind of going against the USD weakness bias, but in fairness, the price action has been atrocious for Aussie dollar. Very, very corrective in nature. Not really showing much momentum to the upside, so I've been anticipating price to push down. We've been very corrective on the way up over here as well, which again kind of adds to the bias that, okay, the buys are not very successful here. They're running out of steam. At least we could go for another down move, for another pullback, even if price does want to push higher. But equally, we could see a very big push down as well in this kind of ascending channel. If I kind of look at the overall structure and how price has been moving. So I'm looking for shorts at this level. So far, the market has been very flat, so there is no opportunity there. If we do push higher, I will also be looking for shorts at the top of the channel as well. Yeah, as long as price remains within the channel, I'm looking to see if I can catch a swing lower, back into the low end of the channel, and then we'll go from there. Perhaps we bounce again, perhaps we break out. We'll monitor that when price does get there, of course. But yeah, for now, still a bit flat, so I'm not seeing a worthy selling opportunity, but it's definitely an area which I'm starting to consider. And also, if you do break higher, I'll also consider the high of the channel. NZUSD, a little bit of a hit and miss this pair. I mean, looks like support is just about holding here. So you've got prior resistance once, twice, a third time. It's kind of been up and down, breaking above, breaking below, breaking above, breaking below. So price hasn't really been respecting the level since this test here. But it does look like we're starting to use it as support, and perhaps we could see a nice intraday rally to the upside here. And I think that's a decent bet there for New Zealand dollar. Market's been flat, but it looks like a higher low could be looking to print. A lot of consolidation here. Perhaps a strong close on the hourly chart could instigate a nice push back into highs around 0.607, around that area anyway. So there might be a nice intraday buy there, but that's about it. I'm not looking for any swing trade here for NZUSD. The market for me is overall looking pretty fatigued now. I said, I was originally interested in a break-even test of this level, but I wanted to see a much bigger breakout with a lot more momentum, and we just haven't seen that. The breakout has been so corrective, so tiresome, so it doesn't really give me much confidence to be looking to try and buy and catch a higher low or a break and retest here. I wanted price to really commit to the upside and then look for the retest. And if we see a breakout like that, that gives me confidence that says, okay, the trend is still alive. We still got more upside, most likely to see. Now, with corrective behavior like this, yes, the market's still up and we could still see another swing. But I think the bigger move is probably a swing back down again. The market's quite tired. I do think we'll have a bit of a rest. So, especially as a swing trader, now's not the time to be looking to jump in. Intraday, sure, you can catch your 30, 40, 50 pips and then, exit the trade later. But if I'm looking to try and catch 100 plus, not the best time for that. Rather wait for price to pull back first and then discuss some longs. As for gold, still just about holding support here. Again, my take on gold is that I'm still bullish for the most part. We've broken out this descending channel, which is what made me bullish with this breakout last week. Then in terms of the opportunity, I was looking for price to break to the upside here for some retest to continue back into 3,500. Unfortunately, we broke to the downside, which kind of just made me kind of just sit on my hands really, because I wasn't too sure if price was going to break back within the channel or use the channel as support to a degree to push us back to the upside. At the moment in time, still hard to tell. Price action is quite sideways right now. But as I said yesterday, if price can recover and break the highs again, then that really does show me that the buyers are back in control. And at that point, a nice break and retest, especially intraday, I think would look very, very good at that point in time. So gold, I do think more upsides on the card still. Not trying to get involved at these prices. I think the market's quite flat for the most part. So not really giving me confidence to jump into buys. Again, when I'm looking to buy gold, it's kind of the expectation that there's momentum in the market, the trend's alive, we're pushing to the upside. The overall trend is still alive and well. If we're flat, that kind of contradicts that. So if you can break the high again, that gives me a bit more confidence that gold is still got some room to the upside to go fulfill. So yeah, still waiting for the break of 33.90. And then if you can break that, then I'll be very, very bullish on gold. And then lastly, you got silver. Yeah, so I had a bit of a spike this morning. I don't know the reason behind that. Not really too bothered about the reason behind it, to be honest, because I just want to find an opportunity to trade silver. And in terms of the bias, that's very clear for me anyway. Very, very bullish market, breaking above major resistance. Now I'm looking for price to pull back to retest that level and for a continuation, brief range just below us. It would be nice to see price come back and wick into that zone as well. So silver, very clear in terms of the direction. Again, we had a very corrective move to the upside. We were speaking a lot about this yesterday, about how these corrective moves tend to give us sell-offs. We've had a sell-off now. Now it just depends how big of a sell-off. Is it just the spike for us to continue rallying? Or is this the start of potentially a bit of a down move? We have to wait and see. At the moment in time, this is the only area of interest for me on silver, so there's not a lot for me to do really until we start to approach 35, and then I can start to discuss some longs. But yeah, massive breakout. I'm still looking at 40 as the next big psychological level. So I do think there's still more room to the upside for silver, but that's the opportunity I am interested in. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD. Still, for the most part, pretty weak, but again, with major news coming out, I think it's probably best to wait for that to happen, especially with a lot of USD pairs looking very flat right now. Dan, yeah, we just had a look at gold. What's up? Follow the trend. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. As I said for gold, just waiting for price to break the high, really. There's nothing, I mean, in this area, there might be some short-term selling opportunities because we are coming back to retest the range here. So I think looking for shorts, maybe like the 15-minute chart could actually look good. We did have a nice spike into the zone there yesterday. Nice push down there again. Bit of a spike there. Looks like it happened for both gold and silver. They both spiked down. Of course, silver was a bit bigger, but yeah, still at resistance there. I think it's actually not a bad place for a short. I'm not a big fan of the price action, to be honest. The fact that we just left a big wick there to the downside, I'd rather that be to the upside. That would give me a bit more confidence for the short. If we could fill the wick, that could be a nice entry. Maybe a bit big in terms of the stop loss, but I think that gives you nice confirmation that, okay, momentum is picking up from the bears. We are rejecting this level. Maybe a big double top could be forming. Probably can get a push back to support there. Maybe the lows there as well. So yeah, for the most part, gold is still looking quite corrective. So I would still fancy something like that. But in terms of finding an entry, the rejection has kind of skewed things. So maybe this 15-minute candle fills the wick. That could still give us nice entry. It closes in 5 minutes, so I would keep an eye out for that. But at the most, it's rejecting a really nice level. So in terms of the location of everything, it makes a lot of sense. So I think there could be a bit of a drop there. Okay, we'll take a look at BTC was quite crazy the past couple of days. Very bullish. Yes, they didn't do too much. Very sideways, but momentum is still with the buyers overall, and still looking to see if we can push back into the highs at 112. So BTC just, yeah, very bullish. I mean, we're still at the all-time highs, the previous all-time highs, I mean. So Bitcoin is not completely out of the woods. We could still very much push into highs and collapse and form a bit of a double top there. So I'm still not completely, bullish on. I'm bullish on BTC, but in terms of another strong bullish cycle, we need price to kind of break the highs and rip through them. That's typically what we see when we're looking at a healthy BTC. It's not that price gets the highs and starts to become a bit more corrective. That's not really what you want to see. That normally implies that the market's going to dip soon. That's currently what we're doing. But in terms of the intraday opportunity, we of course broke through the channel here very well. And we've got some nice support just below us, prior resistance, which of course we broke through. I think that would just be a very nice place for a buy, and a swing back into 112 makes the most sense. So if you could see a pullback like that, I think that allows you to get the opportunity to actually trade it, and then of course targets back to where we came from, or of course targets back to that high there. But I would expect us to get back to the high, to be honest. So yeah, BTC overall quite bullish. Ethereum is looking interesting as well. We had a nice break to the upside for Ethereum. I mean, it's not completely out of the woods. I would technically say that is a breakout because it's broken above that resistance and closed above. It's not the biggest breakout in the world, so I would want to see another bullish close. So for today's candle, give me another bullish close to the upside. That would give me a bit more confidence because we've only just about cleared the highs there. I wouldn't be too surprised if we close back below on the next candle. So today's candle, I wouldn't be surprised if we were to do that. So if price can really push another day, that would be nice. But yeah, that could be the sign that Ethereum is bullish as well. And there could be some nice break and retest opportunities there for Ethereum. So maybe we're looking at a bit of a bullish period for the cryptos. Yeah, like I said, I would want a little bit more there before I look to follow that. But there is a bullish sign there. We're not breaking to the downside, are we? So yeah, that's a good sign. Boss, what's up? Aussie yen and euro pound. Okay, we'll have a look. See. So Aussie yen, another yen pair. I mean, for the most part, I'm very, I'm very bullish on the yen pairs. Yen's been pretty weak. It looks like there's still a little bit more downside for the yen as well. So I do think Aussie yen's got a pretty good chance of pushing back to resistance here. I'm still looking at this as like an inverse head and shoulder pattern. So you got your left over there, you got your head over there, and you've got your right shoulder. So of course that gives you the inverse head and shoulder pattern. And basically the support over here dragged across, at the support there again. So I do think we can see a rally back to 95.5 at this rate. But of course, in terms of opportunities, that's where things look a little bit not that great, because ideally you want to be buying at the lows here where price is finding support, showing a lot of wick rejections, nice momentum shifts. Now, this is where you want to be looking to get into the trade to capitalize on that swing. Now that we've had the move and price is looking like it's slowing down a little bit, we're seeing more wicks, price becoming a bit more corrective. Not the time to be buying. Maybe there might be a retest here. Something like that. That would be the next best opportunity there for Aussie yen. But even that, I'm not so optimistic for, just because we haven't really had a healthy breakout. But it has held as resistance previously, and could of course very much hold as support. So that's probably the next best opportunity you're looking for a push back into resistance. Then of course you could be looking at some sells whilst you're there for a move back down again. Now I do think eventually price will break through that resistance. So if there is a shorting opportunity, I don't think it will last too long. I'm expecting it to be more of a reaction rather than a reversal. But nonetheless, if you do see healthy rejection there, you can probably catch a nice trade off the back of that as well. But at the moment, in terms of where current price is, we're in the middle of nowhere really, not really trading against anything significant. So I would wait for us to push back into support at 93,800 and then see if we can get that rally back to 95.5 and then go from there. But I do think there's still a bit more upside left for Aussie yen. And looking at the yen basket, I do feel like the yen basket still has a bit more room to give to the downside, back into the lows here at 66.10. So if the yen still got a bit more to give to the downside, that means Aussie yen still got a bit more to give to the upside, which makes sense looking at the technicals there. Looks like we've still got that, that up move there as well. So they're both quite in sync right now. So I do think we'll just likely continue higher. But keep an eye for the retest. If it does happen, I think that could give a nice opportunity. Okay, we'll go through euro pound. I will take a look at oil as well. So euro pound, euro pound looking very bullish. Very nice price action yesterday. We had, of course, some pound news which caused a lot of weakness for pound, and we saw another very impulsive move to the upside, and price is taking out some highs. So it does look very interesting now for euro pound, because we are still respecting these lows. So of course we had the low here, the high, higher low, of course the higher high up there. Now price came back, respected this area of demand here very well. Nice reaction there as well. So in terms of euro pounds, I'm not looking for a swing all the way back to the highs there. I'm not too sure about that, but we have kind of broken out of this resistance here for this inverse head and shoulder pattern. So there's your left head, right shoulder, and it looks like we're about to get the break of that. So I do think there could be some nice opportunities on a retest to take it higher. I'm looking at this level here, prior support, resistance there as well, around 0.85240. Also, I think this area here is something to consider as well. But yeah, Euro pound, just a very choppy pair, but it looks like we do have some nice momentum in the moment, and we are starting to trend higher. So I think a nice break and retest of this level could look good. I would wait for a slightly bigger breakout. We've kind of had a very corrective kind of break of that level, so I wouldn't be looking for the retest just yet, but hopefully some more momentum can come into the market, find a retest there, and hopefully take some buys back into 0.853, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm not so keen on Euro pound complete reversal, just because looking at the price action is just very flat, so I wouldn't try and look for a big move in Euro pound. Keep it short and sweet, and something like that would make a lot of sense to me. So yeah, that's kind of what I've got for Euro pound. Not my favorite pair at the moment, but things are looking pretty bullish, and I think we can still see a bit more upside. Oil's looking very interesting because, of course, we've come back into 66, a very big level of prior support, now turn resistance. We did leave a really nice wick there on the daily chart, so you can see yesterday's candle close. Nice wick into the zone, pull back, close bearish, and of course you can see prior support there, also with wicks, but of course acting as support. Nice rejection on the 4-hour chart. I wouldn't say anything's changed drastically. We're kind of still pushing up within this channel here. So I would keep an eye to see if we can either form a double top or maybe see a break of that channel. I think that could be a nice entry for a short. Stops above the high because it is a big level. So if price does well and truly react with this level, I think a move like this isn't so crazy. Of course, this is a pretty big level of support as well. So I think that would be a very good level to bank some profit at the very least, or manage the trade somehow. But I would expect to see price push back to the lows, because my take on oil is if we are going to hold this level, I would expect to see this kind of bearish trend continue and take us back to lows and maybe further. And if we do recover this level and get back above, well, I'm expecting at least to push back into this area, but even potentially the highs up there as well. So no matter the direction, I think there's a very big move for oil. At the moment, I would be pretty bearish on the pair, or respecting the level pretty well. I think a nice double top could provide some really nice entries intraday as well, if you really want to maximize the opportunity. But a strong break outside that channel, I think that gives us the indication momentum stepped in, and that's our green light for the sells. We're expecting at least to push back into this area at 60.33. So oil, I think, getting ready for some shorts. Nice first reaction there. I like the close on the daily chart, especially with the wick. Shows to us, okay, the bears are stepping into the market. There is room for us to move into, but I would wait to see that breakout. I think that'll give you a lot more confidence if we can see that. What's up, D-Mart? Welcome to the stream. Good morning. I hope you're well. Aussie Chef is actually a pair I'm currently trading. I have trailed my stops to break even. So yeah, I'm kind of waiting to see if price can get to my first profit target, which is the high here at 0.53856, and then my second profit target, and then the ultimate profit target back at the lows here, where we had some solid support once, twice. We broke through with a lot of momentum, and price has yet to come back to retest that zone. I'm kind of looking for that retest there. But of course, nonetheless, I have some areas where I think price might want to try to go against me. So if I can lock in some gains there, that'll be absolutely brilliant. But hopefully we can see the full swing, of course. But yeah, price held support here very well. Basically looking for this move to be a pullback for us to keep pushing higher. Price is, of course, coming from all-time lows as well. So that really does add to the trade. Because if you look to the left here and zoom out, every time the market does create a new all-time low, we have a pretty big recovery afterwards. And yet again, the market swept the lows. So you can see push up, push up, push up, so on and so forth. We're back there again. I do think a big push up is on the cards. Now, of course, I'm not trying to take advantage of a move that big, but it's just in terms of the location. I know where I'm trading. I know that the market is likely to recover. So if I position myself long, I could catch a nice chunk of that move, and that's all I'm trying to do. And so far, it's been a very corrective move, which isn't great. I was kind of hoping for a bit more momentum. This corrective move kind of tells me price might push to the lows again before we do actually see the proper reversal I'm after, because we're lacking momentum and price might want to sell off, collect some more buys first before we do actually really push away. But I'm not too bothered about that. The stops are break even, so there's no risk on the table anymore. Price did break structure here to the upside, so at that point, that was my green light to go to break even. Because at that point, after we break structure, there's no point taking the loser on that position. Price has already seen that first indication of momentum in your direction. So yeah, with Aussie CHF, I think there's more upside to be had. In terms of additional entries, people have been asking about how to get into Aussie CHF. I did talk about a breaking test of this level, but I wouldn't look to do that right now. At the moment, we're having a lot of trouble trying to break the high. I'm not even too sure if this is a break or retest, or the price is still rejecting the level. It's not very clear. So I would wait for that momentum to come in, where the price has that breakout and then gives it the retest, or we push down into support again and trying to find some more buys at the lows. I think that would be the better opportunity if it does come around. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on that level there too. But in terms of direction, still looking for a swing back to the high at 0.544. I'm very bearish on CHF, CAD CHF, New Zealand CHF, Aussie CHF, Euro CHF. I think all those pairs have a lot of room to the upside to give. And yeah, I'm looking to see if I can take advantage of some of it. Dan, GJ, okay, we'll have a look. See, Ivan, good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, pound yen, we had a big reaction yesterday. Of course, we had some pound news, which gave us a very strong candle. I was actually looking at shorting pound yen yesterday, but I decided not to because I looked at the other yen pairs. I could see they weren't quite in sync. And I looked at the yen basket as well, and it looked like the yen basket still has room to fall. So for those two reasons, I decided not to take the trade. But we did have a very strong rejection here at a very nice key level of resistance, which typically would fit my criteria to get into a position. But because of what I was seeing with the other yen pairs and the yen itself, it didn't really make sense. It looked like yen is still going to be weak. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. I haven't really seen that momentum come through because, of course, that bearish move was caused by the news yesterday. And we're not really seeing the continuation of that bearish momentum for pound itself. And the yen, of course, at the moment is still pretty weak. So with the JPY basket, we're kind of just squeezing a little bit between this trend line and that resistance. Price got equal highs and these higher lows. And we might continue to range until eventually maybe a news catalyst gives us the direction for pound yen, whether it's going to be the breakout to the upside or the breakout to the downside. And again, as a trader, we're not really too bothered about which way it is because we can still benefit from both directions. I've got targets in both directions as well. If price does break to the upside, I'm looking for us to get back to the high there at 199.6. If we break to the downside, then I'm looking for us to come back to revisit this low at 186.4. So despite which way pound yen goes, there's opportunity for us. At the moment, I'm leaning more towards the break to the upside, but again, we'll have to wait for it to happen anyway. Doesn't really matter which way I'm leaning towards because there is an opportunity until there is one. There might be again another rejection at the level for another short. I'll keep an eye on yen, see how everything progresses. If yen still looks weak, I wouldn't really entertain the opportunity unless things change drastically with the yen. I'll get to that in a moment. But in terms of the buys, again, just keeping it very simple, waiting for price to clear the highs there, look for some type of retest, and then that should be a very nice trade. Hopefully back to the highs at just below 200. So I think that would be a nice opportunity. Likewise to the downside, if we were to clear the trend line there and clear the lows here too, I think that's pretty important. Take out the lows there as well. Then of course naturally looking for some, didn't mean to do that. Then looking for some type of pullback, maybe a retest of a low somewhere, and then Bob's your uncle, hopefully some nice shorts after. So yeah, very kind of just neutral on pound yen. Like I said, I'm leaning towards the bullish side of things, but it doesn't really matter until we get the breakout. Then I can discuss the buying opportunities a little bit more in a bit more detail. But yeah, waiting to see if we can get something like that. And if we don't, if we do break lower, not to worry, still should be some opportunities on the way back down. But yeah, I'm looking at the yen basket, and as I said, it looks like the yen has still got some weakness to give. I'm still looking to see if we can push back into the low. This support to our left looks like it's not holding price very well. So if the yen has still got a little bit more downside to give, because again, the yen could sell off here and then react bullish, so that could change things as well. But if the yen is still likely to keep falling, well, that should keep pound yen pushing up as well. So in terms of the timing, I don't think it's quite right to be looking to short pound yen just yet. Unless pound's going to be insanely weak for whatever reason, then of course we could still sell off. But it doesn't look like the yen is going to see some strength. At least not yet anyway. So I'm at least looking for the yen to get here before I would anticipate some strength. And then of course I'll see what price does, see how it reacts. If we're seeing healthy rejection, then sure, that might be the time to start looking to short the yen pairs and buy the yen. But right now, I think we've still got at least another day's worth of falling. So yeah, being careful with that. I was looking to short Euro yen, I was looking to short Swiss yen, but none of them gave me good entry signals anyway. But the yen is not looking quite ready to be bought yet, so I've just been very careful. Trev, what's up, my man? Hope you're well. What does CPI need to be today to keep Euro yen bullish? Does it need to be better or worse? I'm not too sure about Euro yen. Because USD is going to affect, I mean, typically USD will be opposite to, well, Euro will be opposite to USD. So if USD is bullish, normally Euro is going to be weakened. But then again, because of course it's partnered with the yen, typically the yen is going to be opposite of the USD as well. So the yen will probably be weakened too. So it depends who's going to be the weaker one out of the two. I'm not too sure. And of course, vice versa for the other way around. So I'm not too sure in terms of how much greater the value needs to be. And of course, the specifics with Euro and with yen. Yeah, I will kind of just wait and eyeball it with the market, really. Again, especially with CPI, Fed interest rate, NFP, all of these are USD focused, but of course they do kind of affect other pairs. And I'm kind of just waiting for the other pairs to do their thing before I would cement a bias or try and predict anything. But yeah, it's difficult to say. No problem, Dan. Happy to help. Follow the trend. Really, buckle the seatbelts for CPI. Yeah, I'm looking for some USD strength as well. I'm looking for some USD strength as well. I think we can still see it. I'm looking to try and buy Euro USD, but I want it to sell off first. And that will probably give us the short-term strength for the dollar, because we're looking very tired, very fatigued in this area, and we're very sideways. Let's not forget. If you look at the dollar for the past few days, past week or so, since the start of the month, we haven't really gone anywhere. So it looks like the market's crying out for some type of catalyst to get the market moving. I thought that was going to be NFP last week. NFP didn't really do anything. Now we've got CPI coming up. Hopefully CPI can do something. We've got the Fed next week, so if the CPI doesn't do anything, we're going to have to rely on the Fed next week for us to get the ball rolling. But yeah, we've been pretty flat. If the market can get rocked by CPI, that's great to me, because it just means opportunities. I'm not so concerned about which way we go, because as a trader we can sell and buy to make a profit there. It's all about momentum and opportunity, really. When markets are flat like this, it just does nobody a favor, really, at least for us retail traders. So hopefully you can find some opportunities post CPI. I'm not in any USD pairs. I mean, I've been eyeing up a few. Dollar CAD, as you mentioned, I am looking for a buy for dollar CAD. I do have some areas just a little bit further below, which I want to see price come and test before I do get long on dollar CAD. I'm looking at this big range here to see if we can tap into that before we do see a push higher. So I would want to see dollar CAD sell off a little bit further. Dollar CHF, I'm not really so much looking to buy, to be honest. This one's a little bit flat. I mean, I can see we're definitely testing support, and we could definitely bounce from here. Don't get it twisted, but I'm not really looking for a buy just yet. I think dollar CAD looks a little bit better for me. I am also looking to short Aussie dollar as well, which of course fits the same bias in terms of looking for a bit of USD strength. But Aussie's been so corrective on the way up, I do think we can kind of spill over and see a push down. So yeah, keeping an eye on some Aussie dollar shorts too, but nothing just yet. And again, I would wait till after CPI now, because the next 4-hour candle is going to close at 2 p.m. and that'll be after the CPI news anyway. I only really enter on the 4-hour chart anyway, so I would have to wait till after CPI even if I didn't want to. Crypto was Element Traders is a prop firm. As a prop firm, we offer education as well. We do have an academy, excuse me, an academy which we're looking to educate traders and hopefully develop them into successful traders, which of course can take challenges. And if you do well, you'll be rewarded with funded accounts and the opportunity to make profits and of course grow with the firm as well. But we're a prop firm. We offer challenges for traders looking to expand their capital and take their trading to the next level. So you can check it out. Links in the description, or you can just Google Elevating Traders or elevatingtraders.com in your search tab. And there's the FAQ. You can read through that. But that's just a general overview. Excuse me. Throat is being very croaky today. What's up, Ak? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Looking for dollar CAD bounce, counter trend. I'm on the same page as you as well. I'm looking for a bounce as well, dollar CAD too. I do think price is running out a bit of steam. We're coming very corrective now. You can see how price is moving. This is not it's not a healthy bearish trend anymore. It's kind of like a wedge pattern, if you will, which again coincides with that bias that, okay, we're running out of steam, we're probably going to push up soon. So yeah, I do agree, dollar CAD's due a move to the upside. It's always the timing. The timing is always the difficult part, especially when you're going counter trend, and especially when we have been falling for a while. The market is still 100% bearish, so you have to pay the bearish bias some respect. It's not a case of, okay, we're tied, let me just jump into a buy. That's a quick way just to give your profits back to the market. So I'm looking for evidence of equal lows forming, maybe even a higher low. Excuse me, maybe even a higher low at some point. Again, I won't be looking to enter until after CPI anyway, so I'm gonna need CPI to come in and do its thing. But I do have a level just below us, which I would like to see price test. A really nice zone here, where I do think price can turn around from. But I do agree. I do think dollar CAD is due a bounce. I'm also looking at Aussie dollar, which of course is the similar idea in terms of I'm looking for USD to bounce as well, but shorting it, buying it against the Aussie basically. Trev, no problem. Happy to help. Good. Glad it was helpful. Follow the trend. Yeah, dollar CAD seems good. More downside, yeah. New Zealand CAD finally broke the symmetrical triangle. Let me have a look. I've been eyeing up New Zealand CAD, but my plan of action has been very simple with New Zealand CAD. It's basically, if we can get to these lows, I'm looking to buy it. So that has basically been my plan. And since we haven't been anywhere near the lows, I haven't really been paying much attention to it. When price does get closer, or hopefully if it does get closer, I'll set an alert there and then I'll monitor it a bit more closely. But I haven't really been paying too much attention because I know my level is so far away. But I have been very bullish on New Zealand CAD. I do think price has kind of had like a massive V-shape reversal here. And I'm basically looking at a continuation back to the high. So I do think price is still likely to break to the upside here. Maybe even a longer term move back to the high there as well. But we can discuss that at a later date. But for now, still very bullish. But in terms of where I want to position myself, it has to be at the lows, especially when the market is ranging and is as choppy as it is right now. Getting involved at the lows is normally the best place for that because it allows you to get an entry out of the way of the mess, of the chaos of the consolidation. And you can get some relatively safe stop losses as well. And if you want to trail your stop loss into profit or to break even, it's not in the way of things. You know, if you were to enter in the middle and look to trail your stop loss to break even there, well, there's a very good chance you can just get wicked out randomly. If you're down here, of course, that could still happen, but less chance. The market has to work a lot harder to wick you out. But yeah, anyway, I'm looking to try and get involved here, so I haven't really been too interested about the price action there. In terms of the symmetrical triangle, maybe it's a bit hard to tell, really. It's even hard to kind of spot the triangle, to be honest. I suppose if you're kind of looking at it like this with this trend line, first test, second test, arguably a third and a fourth there as well. Maybe a slight, I mean, I can see a trend line there as well. So it's very awkward, I must say, New Zealand CAD. I think you could argue, yes, it has broken out, but, and this is kind of like the retest of it. So breakout, retest sort of situation. I'm not entirely convinced. Like I said, I'm kind of just boxing this off as consolidation. So I'm not really too interested in the detail how price is moving right now. My only question is, can we get to these lows? And can I find a buying opportunity down there? That's the only thing I'm really concerned about for my personal trading. But in terms of the trend line and the break of the symmetrical triangle, it looks like we're breaking and retesting. But I wouldn't be surprised if we just kind of mess around and just collapse again, to be honest. And that's just because of the nature of the market. So I wouldn't be too concerned about the break and retest or break of the triangle in this instance. I think the market is still very, very choppy. I think if you can break through the level here, that has a lot more say. If price can break through that resistance and retest that, I think that will be a better place to try and find some entries, because this is a rejected price pretty clearly four times here, or five even. So a break of that, I think, would be a a strong sign to say, okay, New Zealand CAD is looking bullish again. Excuse me, throat has been very croaky today. Okay, no problem. Follow the trend. What's your plan on gold? So gold, gold. I mean, I'm still looking to buy the pair. I'm waiting to see if we can clear the highs for an opportunity above this level, because that was the plan coming into the week. We didn't have this price action when I was doing my analysis on the weekend in terms of, actually no, we did have that move. I was talking about silver. We did have that move on Friday, but the plan was still waiting for a recovery above the level here. That was my plan for last week. I'm still waiting for the price to recover that level, because with this bearish move, price is still above the top end of the channel. So even though we did break lower, and that would be kind of a bearish signal, and I still do kind of fancy a drop again intraday. I was looking at the 50-minute time frame earlier in the stream. It looks like momentum's starting to pick up there, but I still do fancy a sell from that level. But in terms of my plan, I'm very much just looking to see if we can break that level for a buy. Because if we do break the highs there, that kind of reinstates the bullish trend and makes me kind of convinced that, okay, the market is bullish again. I think we can continue back to the highs. If the market does break back within the channel, that puts a bed to that bullish bias, and yeah, we probably do just fall back to the lows at that point. So again, to be honest, gold is not really on my radar in terms of the metals. Silver is the one on the radar, really, because that looks just very, very clear in terms of what price is doing, what price has done. I know exactly what I'm after there. Gold is just a little bit more difficult to read, but in the same scenario, if price was to break the highs again, well, gold looks clear again to me. Then I can look for the retest there. But I'm not really looking to short gold. I think that's the key thing. I'm not really looking to short gold. And on the lower time frame, I think the short looks good. But again, you're trying to be in and out within the day, really. In terms of a swing position, I'm not quite there with the sells just yet. What's up, the High Elf? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Possible head and shoulder at 33.61 on daily chart. Let's have a look. Okay, I think I see what you mean. So left over there, head over there, then kind of like a right shoulder here, sort of. Yeah, I kind of get that. Yeah, I mean, that could be the case, really. I'm not going to say that isn't. That definitely could be the case. I think I would want to see a stronger move down. Actually, no, that's probably pushing it. Yeah, it could be. It really could be. It really could be a head and shoulder move, to be honest. It could be. What would be nice would be a break of the neckline, though, because that would kind of kill two birds with one stone. Not only is price back within the channel, but of course we've cleared the neckline or the support level there. So at that point, I think there's a very high chance that gold does sell off, at least gets back to the lows here, but probably even further as well. So I think I would keep an eye on 32.89 or 32.90, I would say, in terms of support. If that can break, that really does set the tone for gold being bearish. But yeah, I think you could class that as a head and shoulder. Not the most kind of clear-cut one, but I think it does kind of fit the bill. Hi Elf, what do I think of Aussie NZD longs? Okay, we'll have a look at that one. Okay, you believe we're adding the drop later after CPI. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Again, I'm not really one to try and predict news. I've tried in the past. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Especially as more of a technical trader. Especially when you've been around the block as well and you've seen a lot of news announcements. Unless you've got like an inherent plan to trade the news, which I don't. I'm always looking to trade the chart. You know, the news is just a catalyst for me. I kind of let the news do its thing. I don't try to pay it too much mind. I'm more so concerned about how price reacts to the news rather than trying to anticipate what price is going to do, because again, it's any man's guess, really. And as a trader, it's more to do about reacting rather than predicting as well. But yeah, in terms of Aussie NZD, what do I think about longs? There is somewhat of a bullish trend line here. Connecting price, so first test, second test, and there's your third. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of longs. We're not really, I mean, we're just about testing this low here, so we did spike into some support there. But there isn't really a lot of significance here with Aussie NZD in terms of a trend we're looking to follow or even momentum, really. The market's just very flat. So at the moment, I would say this pair looks very Very corrective, very tight, not really showing much signs of quality. And when I mean quality, I'm talking about momentum and clear direction. I wouldn't say there's much of that, or at least I can't really see much of that right now with Aussie NZD. Possibly we are going to bounce at the low. It is a very strong support level. We have rejected it well. Maybe price does turn around. I would argue that this is some consolidation here. Maybe a strong break and a retest of that could provide a long, but I wouldn't really be looking to long the pair. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be looking to short it either. So it's not like I'm bearish and I'm expecting price to continue lower. Absolutely not. I'm just very, very neutral and just waiting for more development before a good opportunity does arise. Right now, I can't really see a good opportunity up or down. I think I would favor a push up, to be honest. We've had a very corrective move down. Looks like price is bottoming out. So I would, if I had to put a trade on, I would be looking to buy it as well, to be honest. But again, that's just if I had to, which thankfully I don't. So it wouldn't be an opportunity I would look for. But yeah, if we could see a strong break, that could provide some nice kind of intraday buys or some shorter term buys. I think I wouldn't look for any big swing here. There's no trend to follow, so I would keep everything short and sweet with Aussie NZD. But yeah, we're respecting support to some degree. There is a kind of an uptrend here, but yeah, I'll just keep it very short and sweet. I think this is my least favorite pair of all the pairs I trade. It is my least favorite. Okay, where was I? Ivan, Aussie yen. Okay, head and shoulder, wait for breaking retest. Yeah, I was eyeing up that head and shoulder, or inverse head and shoulder. Take profit maybe 98. What do you think? Okay, I'll go take a look at that as well. Yusuf, good morning, my man. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I am doing good. Thank you. Thank you. Dan, US 30, sure. We'll take a look. Hi Elf, what is up? Got it, thanks. Okay, looking at the monthly. Okay, my bad. Let me have a look at the monthly. Okay, yeah, I don't mind the monthly. I think eventually the market is going to break to the upside, to be honest, because if I look at the overall structure, 100% I agree. There's a long opportunity on the cards here. It's basically in a bit of a, I mean, it's funny because even the monthly chart is kind of consolidating, but there is some type of cycle going on here, and it looks like price is getting ready for another one of these moves, just continuing what we've been doing. So I do 100% agree that that's the likely move for the monthly chart, 100%. But the funny thing is that we've been consolidating since 2014, 2015. So if you're looking for a big move on the month, you have to be very, very patient. You have to be a very patient person because we are taking our time. Yeah, we are taking our sweet time here. But I think there's a big move to be had to the upside for Aussie NZD. I agree. But yeah, it's just a very slow pair, so I don't tend to trade it much. I do keep tabs on it because from time to time it does give me a good trade here and there. So it's not a situation where I want to get rid of the pair. But I don't trade it often. Anyway, we'll take a look at that Aussie yen idea for Ivan. So yeah, Aussie yen, I'm looking at the same kind of inverse head and shoulder, I believe. So you got the left over here, the head down there, right shoulder there. That's of course your neckline. Then you're looking for price to clear that and see some more upside. I think we're on the same page with that one, Ivan. Wait for a retest and then buy it. Take profit maybe 98,400, which would take us around here. So kind of lining up with that high there. So yeah, I would agree. And a retest about the high, I think, looks like a very nice place for a buy because, of course, it's proven to be a very solid level of resistance. Once over there, second time over there, of course, flipped hopefully it can act as support. So I definitely do agree with that idea. It looks really good. Momentum on your side. Looks like this bearish trend could be coming to not necessarily an end, but it looks like it could be at least seeing some type of counter bullish trend with it, especially with this kind of anticlimactic sell-off and prices recovered all of that. So it looks like we'll probably see a bit more upside anyway. And then maybe from here we continue the bearish trend, who knows. But I think the move you're looking for, it looks pretty likely. It's not unreasonable, especially if you do clear resistance well, then yeah, I would agree. So yeah, I do agree with that bias there. This is kind of what I'm looking at in the short term. Of course, potentially a bit of a sell from that level, or maybe a buy from this one. A bit more kind of an intra-week, intraday play. But yeah, I would agree that's probably the next big swing trade to keep an eye on. Okay, so US 30, I will take a look at as well. Antonio, the reason Aussie and NZD looks so tight, correct? Because the currency are very strong right now. That's something to deal with. Yeah, I mean, Aussie and NZD for the most part are very, very similar currency pairs. So 9 times out of 10, they're kind of doing the same thing. Aussie and NZD are both weak, or they're both strong. Of course, there will be slippages between the two, something in isolation with Aussie or isolation with NZD, which will cause Aussie NZD as a pair to move a lot, whether up or down. Same thing with Euro Pound, of course, as well. But for the most part, very similar currencies. They do the same thing. Same with Euro Pound. So they do end up cancelling each other out a lot. Yeah, of course, fundamentals can help identify strong versus strong, or weak versus weak, and kind of pick which is more optimal to trade. I mean, technicals can tell you that as well. Just by looking at the price, you can see if the market's chopping around, then you know the pairs are fairly equal at the moment in time if they're consolidating. But of course, understanding why can, of course, give you a bit more guidance there in terms of, okay, well, what will be the catalyst to actually make Aussie or NZD change strength or weakness, and then that could be your indication to potentially look to start trading the pair. But as a technical trader, market conditions play a huge role in my selection of which pair I'm going to trade. And in terms of market conditions, I'm looking for trending markets, looking for markets which have movement to them. And of course, just by looking at AUD/NZD, I can see that that's just got no movement right now. And so do a lot of pairs. So kind of hoping we can get the ball rolling this week, or hopefully next week with the Fed. But I think CPI might cause a bit of waves today, hopefully. I mean, the only pair I'm in is Aussie CHF, so I'm not too worried about CPI. Of course, I would expect to see a bit of a reaction, but it's not directly impacted by CPI, so I shouldn't be in the firing line too much with that position, hopefully. Good morning, Open Meeple. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. I am good, thank you. Excuse me. Please watch your thoughts on Aussie, Swiss, and Pound Yen. So yeah, Aussie CHF, I'm pretty bullish on that pair. I am buying it, so I would be. I am looking for a lot more upside for this one. Yeah, in terms of getting involved with the pair, again, ideally you kind of want to be at the lows because we're looking very tired right now. So not really seeing much momentum, which again is kind of why I'm hoping CPI might cause a bit of movement here, because a lot of pairs are a little bit choppy right now. And the pair I'm trading is too. But hopefully we can pick up some momentum from somewhere. Again, potentially might push back into the lows again, because this is a very corrective move. So I think we could very much see a push back down again before we do push back up. But for the most part, we've been okay. We've just about cleared resistance here. That's a positive sign for the buyers as well. I do think Aussie CHF, from a longer term point of view, has upside to push back to the swing high and further. The reason why I'm so bullish on the pair is because we're coming from all-time lows. Typically, after the market does make all-time lows, it does tend to recover and see some upside, and I would expect that pattern to repeat itself again. So I'm looking to try and buy that and take it back to highs. In terms of getting involved now, that's the only question mark. I think a breaking retest of this level looks good. I mean, that's my first profit target for the trade. That's what I'm looking to try and take some partials off. And then again over there as well. And then I'll probably just exit everything at this level up there. I think this area could provide a nice buy opportunity, but I would advise to wait for some more momentum before looking for a retest. The market is very corrective, very flat, and that's not a good recipe for a break and retest. You want to see a strong break, a lot of momentum. That gives you the confidence that, okay, the trend is alive and well, buyers are doing good, will probably likely continue at this rate. So yeah, either we have a break and retest of that level, or price comes back down into support again, and maybe form like a large double bottom to reverse. I would say either or looks good at this point in time, but momentum's the key thing right now. But yeah, very, very bullish on Aussie CHF. I think there's more upside to be had. Pound JPY, I've kind of got a mixed bag for this one, a bit more neutral. I'm waiting for price to make its move before I do kind of really confirm things. I am leaning towards the bullish side of things a little bit more. But again, it doesn't really matter too much because I need price to break resistance. So that's really the key thing I'm waiting for. If I expand to the daily chart, if price does clear resistance here, then I'm looking for a pushback to the swing high at 199.6. If price does break to the downside here, then I'm looking for the swing back into 186.4. So it doesn't really matter which way we go. I've got targets, either side. I'm just waiting for a clear opportunity. So it looks like yen is still a little bit weak at the moment. Potentially we might still see a bit more weakness. If that is the case, that should probably push pound yen higher. I know pound was pretty bearish yesterday, but it doesn't really look like we're seeing much follow through of that weakness from pound. So I would actually favor us to break higher. Then of course, if we can get that, then hopefully a nice break and retest provides some opportunities, and we can swing it back into the next level. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for on pound yen. And of course, if we do break lower, then I'll switch the bias around and hopefully look for some pullbacks for a short. But at the moment, not quite seeing that. Yusuf, thoughts on pound USD. Yesterday I entered shorts and I trailed stop loss to 1.3511. Okay, we'll take a look at that. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to hit the like button. It does really help out if you're finding the stream useful, informative, and educational, and you're enjoying it in any shape or form. Please be sure to hit the like button. It does really help out. Helps the channel grow. Of course, subscribe to the channel as well if you want to see more of the content. Definitely hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads. But I do really appreciate everyone who has liked the stream and subscribed so far. But yeah, Yusuf, I will take a look at pound for you, no problem. Dollar yen longs, Raphael, okay, we'll have a look. Varys, what about euro yen? Long since 164.4, price trading at resistance, okay. I'll take a look at that one as well. First, let me go through pound for Yusuf. So pound USD, you said you got short with this one and you trailed stops. Okay, I know you're on the 15, so let me drop to the 15. So you got short around 1.3517. That's about there. And trail stops to 3511, which is about here. Okay, looking pretty good. So I can see that you've trailed your stop above structure here, which is always a good thing to do if you're looking to trail stops. Gives you some protection. And of course, the price was to take up the high. Well, it's probably going to go against you completely. So you probably want to be out of the trade there anyway. But yeah, price has cleared some structure here on the 15. I wouldn't be too alarmed at that. Sometimes price does clear a more minor swing high to continue lower. I think where your stop losses trailed makes a lot of sense. And we've got a nice area of supply there. So you'd want to see price respect this. If we are going to continue falling, perhaps hit these lows and go further, then we should be respecting 1.305. If price does clear it, then you don't really want to be in the trade anymore. You'll be trailed out for a small profit there, and you move on to the next position. So yeah, I like how you're managing the trade. Makes a lot of sense. Structure still looks good. It's in your favor. Still respecting the high just about. Well, we are forming some wicks here. Just hopefully we can turn around and see a push down. yeah, I think you're doing a good job in terms of managing that position. And I suppose targets are back at the lows here, 1.346 roughly around there. But yeah, no kind of critique for that. Nice entry, managing the trade well. Hopefully price can continue in your favor. If it doesn't, you walk away with a small profit. Not every trade is going to be a home run, unfortunately. But yeah, I think you're managing that trade well. Dollar yen longs, I'm waiting for price to kind of break out this range before I really say anything about dollar yen, because we've got some equal highs up there. Price is doing a pretty good job at respecting. We've got some equal lows here, which price is doing a pretty good job at respecting as well. And for the most part, price is just kind of fluctuating between those two levels. So I said at the start of the week, if we are going to look for a bullish dollar yen, well, I want this level here to clear, and then we can speak about a long back into the high here at 148.6. If we're going to speak about a bearish dollar yen, then I want to see price clear this support level, and then I'll look for a swing back into the low, and of course a breaking retest of this level. So in terms of opportunities, it's pretty straightforward in terms of what I'm looking for. Breaking retest there, or the breaking retest here. Inside the range, I'm leaving price alone. I don't really want to do too much with price. So if you are looking to buy dollar yen, I would recommend we break through 146. Then we can look for some retest back into 149 almost. And then I think that could be a nice swing trade to look at. But I wouldn't want to buy it now, especially as we approach resistance. Not really making too much sense to me. So yeah, dollar yen for the most part pretty flat. But if we can break out one of those levels, hopefully you see some momentum come into the market. And of course CPI is going to have its part to play. But yeah, I wouldn't be looking to buy just yet. Excuse me. We'll go through Euro Yen next for Varus. Antonio tried to hold on to Aussie CHF at least until next week. CHF is fundamentally not where the S&B wants it to be. Red hot franc and the low interest rate, bad mix. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for that kind of fundamental catalyst to get the ball rolling, because the CHF pairs for the most part have been very flat since the big drop we had in, like, what was it, March, April. CHF pairs have been very flat, so it looks like they're all kind of waiting for a catalyst. If you look at Aussie CHF, kind of a brief zoom out, you can see very flat. CAD CHF, very flat. Euro CHF, very flat. Pound CHF has seen a bit of movement, to be fair, but still quite flat. And dollar CHF, very flat as well. So CHF pairs haven't really gone anywhere since the big drop there, April. So I think there's a big move coming, and hopefully it's to the upside, because I'm buying Aussie CHF. I think it likely is to be to the upside. So yeah, hopefully I can hold the position, but of course I managed the trade in terms of trading my stops to break even. So now it's just up to the market whether we get that continuation or price does come and knock me out the position. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, hopefully it does pick up some momentum, and hopefully we can take advantage of that move. In terms of Euro Yen, Varus, you said you're long, but price is trading in some resistance. Oh, looking very bullish here for Euro Yen. Doing a very good job at the moment. Okay, so I'm long since 164.4. That's about here. Price trading at resistance. I mean, we have cleared this level here, so that's definitely a massive boost for your trade. Looking at okay, I can see the resistance you're talking about. We are coming back into this area here on the left. So 166.5, 166, probably just call it, is definitely major resistance, because of course it did give us a humongous drop towards the end of last year. So we are approaching resistance, but again, depends how you want to manage the trades. Are you trading stops, or do you have a definitive target for the trade? How are you looking to try and manage that? Yeah, how are you looking to try and manage that? Okay, looking to trade it back to 175 if price breaks out. Is it trading now? I'm not sure if it should hold up or take profit or put stop loss at break even. Yen looks weak. Yeah, yen does look weak. So I think you know, everything is lined up in your favor right now. I mean, euro yen's still pushing quite hard right now, so we're definitely looking at a weakish yen and a strongish euro at the moment. Of course, things can change very quickly. So you're asking, what should you do in terms of your entries? Should you go break even? Again, you kind of want to have the plan before you do take a trade, so you're not kind of stressed out in terms of what to do, because trading is very, very stressful, especially when you're kind of doing it as you go along, especially in a live trade, especially in a live account, because you got those floating profits, you don't want them to disappear, but then at the same time, you don't want to close the trade too early and leave a lot on the table. So it's always a never-ending battle, really. So having that kind of plan beforehand, whether, okay, I'm going to take profit here, or when we get to 2R, or I'm going to trail stops after this, that just kind of allows you to be a lot less calm, a lot more calm, sorry, not a lot less calm. It doesn't mean that you will maximize every trade though. Of course, sometimes you go to break even a bit too early, you get stopped out. Sometimes you go to break even a bit too late as well, so it's not going to be perfect either. In this case, since you have cleared some resistance to our left here, I think you should be going to break even. That's how I would look at it, to be honest, because if I've caught a trade from here and price already broken through some major highs, you know, we had a pretty strong move down, I would immediately look to lock in some gains there. And trail to break even, because I wouldn't want to have a situation where price now breaks back underneath the same level and stops me out for a loss. You know, I've got that initial indication, that initial move in my favor. I wouldn't want to now lose money on that situation. If I was to enter a trade and price just reverses against me and smashes my stop loss, fair enough. You know, I wasn't in the right direction. But here, you're clearly in the right direction, so you want to lock in some gains there. And whether you want to take partials, that's up to you. But I would at least lock in stops at break even. Even I'll trail just underneath that level, to be honest. So 164.8, 164.9, I'll probably trail stops just underneath that level there. You're looking at 175, which is a huge move. That would put you all the way back to the highs up there. That is a huge move. Again, when you're looking at such a big target, you do want to kind of trail stops and pay yourself along the way, because trading is very difficult, and if you're going to try and predict massive moves like that, there's a lot of things that can happen in that time that could not go your way. You know, fundamental pictures can change, narratives can change. The yen is looking very weak now, but who's to say we're still looking weak in a week's time or 2 weeks' time? Things can change very quickly. So I would look to trail stops along the way. So if we do go and smash this level, I would immediately lock in some gains above that, below that level as well. And again, doesn't mean that you won't get trailed out. Maybe you do, but at least you walk away with a profit. It's not a situation where you're in a healthy profit and things change and you walk away for break even, or worse, a loss. So yeah, I'll just trail along the way. If we can break through the next level, trail below that as well. It looks like you're looking for a longer term swing or even position trade. So I'll just trail which level we create. But yeah, looking pretty bullish. Hopefully the trade can keep pushing in your favor there. But yeah, I'll definitely remove risk now. Pound entity, okay, we'll take a look as well, no problem. US 30, I forgot about US 30, my bad, Dan. I'll take a look at US 30. Excuse me. Dollar yen, okay, we'll take a look as well. I'll go for US 30 first, because that was requested before. Yeah, US 30 looks a little bit dry as well. I think everything's just waiting for CPI. Because so many pairs are very flat right now. So yeah, I think it's just best to wait for CPI to come through and then look for opportunities afterwards. I think if you get into a trade now, you're asking for a little bit of trouble. You know, finding some entries inside of this is just a recipe for disaster, I would say. Of course, not necessarily. Maybe you do catch the breakout and it goes your favor. Yeah, that can happen as well, but it's a bit more of a gamble rather than a good kind of educated guess. But yeah, in terms of Dow Jones, I'm still very bullish on this one. I do think more upside is likely. I would say we are seeing characteristics of a market that is tiring. So I do think a bigger pullback is on the cards at some point. I'm seeing kind of the same characteristic with the S&P, with NAS as well. So I'm actually expecting some decent pullbacks for all of them. Yeah, but of course, we'll wait till it happens. In terms of a swing bias, I'm not really seeing an opportunity unless, let's say, we clear resistance here well. So I see a strong break above the highs here, kind of showing that the buyers are back in control of the market. Then yeah, sure, a retest could look good. But if we were to spill to the downside here, I probably would wait to see if we can approach support again before looking to buy. Back down at 41,400. But let's say if CPI gives us a bullish stock market and the indices are up, then yeah, something like this could look good. Maybe towards the end of the week or start of next week. Then yeah, US 30, I think we can continue to ride higher. Yeah, US 30, I'm still looking for the push to the all-time high. Same thing with the S&P, and same thing for NAS. But again, you can see we're becoming a little bit corrective here. So I do think a pullback is on the cards. Not seeing much momentum anymore. It's kind of like a slow grind higher. So I do think we can spill over the higher low and then push up again. I think that is very much on the cards there. I wouldn't bank on that happening, so I wouldn't be looking to try and short the market, try and catch that move. But I do feel like we can see a drop there to head higher. Same thing with NAS 100 as well. This one's looking probably the most corrective out of all of them. So I do think we can push down at the higher low, flush out some buyers, and then see maybe the all-time high. Or we might spike to the high first and then see the drop. Nah, I can see that happening as well. We might kind of squeeze higher, take the high, then drop, then continue. But either which way, I think there's a nice swing trade coming up. So keep an eye on that. No problem, Varus. Happy to help. Okay. Dolly and you are long. Okay, we'll have a look. I'll go through pound NZD first, and then we can look at the dollar yen position. So pound NZD is becoming quite corrective as well. Again, I'm still pretty bearish for pound NZD as a whole. I do think price is still likely to push back into the lows here at 2.22. I'm looking at somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern. So you got left over there, right over there, and there's your head. So left, head, right shoulder. This kind of is your neckline here, which I'm looking to see if price can break to the downside. Now, if I was already on the daily chart, if I expand to the weekly chart, you can see that we have taken out some major highs not too long ago. Yeah, these are COVID highs. So I do think the market's quite stretched, and we are naturally in need for a bigger correction at some point before we, even if we are to continue, I do think a bigger pullback is on the cards here. So I've been pretty bearish on pound NZD and looking for more downside, but there's no kind of real opportunity to trade it right now. I missed the shorts up here. I was actually sleeping at the time, but I missed the shorts up here. And now we've kind of been slowly pushing down since then, and I haven't really seen a worthy opportunity to get back into the market. I was looking at the break and retest here, but things were just looking very choppy at the time. I didn't really want to get caught in the chop there, so I just let that go. There might be a break and retest over here, but again, just within the range here, very choppy price action, especially a pair like pound NZD. I'll be careful there. I'll be careful, but I think that's probably the best you'll see in terms of a short opportunity. Preferably, you'd want to be up at the highs here, get a nice stop loss above the highs there, maximize your risk reward as well. So that would be the best possible opportunity, but this would be the next best, the available one, the one that's likely to form. So keep an eye for a retest at the low here. That might be the best bet to actually get into some shorts to trade it back into the lows, but 2.22 is what I'm expecting pound NZD to end up at. I do think we can continue to sell off here. And if we do break that, yeah, I mean, maybe we do see a rally back to highs. This is a very corrective move. But if we were to break, I'll leave it alone, because you could very much argue that this is a ranging market, so I don't really want to do too much in the middle. That's why I want to be up at the high, so I can get a nice stop loss away from all the noise. Okay, so we'll take a look at dollar yen next. Happy to help Sultan. Rexis, yes, we'll take a look at gold, no problem. Euro NZD, we'll have a look as well. Yusuf, do you think gold is good for a sell? Okay, I'll go through gold in a second. A lot of people chatting about gold. Let me just go through dollar yen, and then I'll have a look. So yeah, with dollar yen, as I mentioned, another pair which is kind of in a range. A lot of pairs moving sideways. I think that's something to keep a note on. Yeah, especially with news coming soon. But yeah, another market that's kind of flat and has been flat for a while. Again, in terms of buying dollar yen, as I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't look to buy it personally until we can break 146, and then I could look for a retest back to highs. I think as long as we stay below resistance and above support here, the market is likely to keep ranging. Sure, there might be some shorts at the high to sell it back down, and some longs at the low to buy it back up. If you're looking to try and trade ranging markets, you know, trying to catch the reactions at support and resistance, that could be a play as well. I'm also focused on the breakouts. But yeah, if you can break 146, I'm bullish on dollar yen. If you're long in dollar yen now, of course, I'm not too sure about where you entered, whether you entered the low here or somewhere above. I mean, momentum looks pretty bullish now. Yen looks weak as well. So I would fancy us to push back into resistance. But it might not be a straightforward move. It might not be just there. It could be like that. So, you know, how we get there is, of course, a different question. But I do think we can push back into resistance. As I said, this is the key thing I'm looking at. Whilst we're in the range here, that's where indecision, speculation, choppiness is going to be at its peak. So I don't really want to comment too much inside that range until I can see a price breakout. In terms of gold, apparently gold is acting up. Let's take a look. I mean, gold's still, for the most part, rejecting resistance there. Not the biggest rejection in the world, but we are doing a pretty good job. So yeah, with gold, as I said, I'm not really too concerned with gold because I'm looking at silver. I normally look at gold and silver at the same time, and I normally choose whichever's the better pair. And silver looks, you know, miles better than gold in terms of the price action. So I'm kind of just focused on waiting for a pullback for silver. Gold, I'm still just about bullish on because we did have the breakout of this descending channel, which has made me bullish. Unfortunately, we just haven't really seen the continuation of that momentum. You know, price had the nice breakout, consolidated. I was looking for us to break out again and then catch the retest for the buy. So that was the plan last week. Then on Friday, we broke to the downside, messed things up a little bit. Has really made me bearish on the pair. Like I said, I do think we can see an intraday sell, but that doesn't make me bearish overall. You know, the trend is still very much up on the higher time frames. There's no real indication of us turning around just yet. So gold for me is still a bullish market, and it's still a market I'm looking to buy. But this is still the opportunity I would favor. Us to recover the highs again and look for some type of pullback afterwards. It might not even be a retest of the high. It might be a deeper pullback. But I want to see us take the highs out again. That showed me that the buyers are back in control. The trend is still alive. And you know, this was a higher low and we're likely to keep pushing. At the moment, not quite getting that. So yeah, in terms of gold, Yusuf, if you're looking for a sell around 33.42, let's drop to the 15. 33.42, so that'll be around here-ish. So yeah, I mean, anywhere we're kind of within this zone, really, I think is a good place to look to short. Preferably, I like to be at the high there, kind of trying to catch the double top. So if price was to rip to the upside again, and then reject again. That would be nice. I can get some stops just above the high there, or even better if we can wick through the high, and then I can enter after that, and then try and capitalize on a swing back into support, or this low or that low, and depending how aggressive you want to be. You got targets there to choose from. But yeah, what I'm seeing for gold is a very corrective pullback here, and it looks like we could still probably form a lower high to push down. So yeah, I'm still pretty bearish on. Did I say dollar yen? Not too sure if I did. I'm still pretty bearish on gold. I think we can still see another drop lower. Again, this is more intraday, just focusing on the 15, not my overall bias. But I do agree with shorts from that level. Yeah, it did create a nice double top. Preferably, I like to be at that double top resistance rather than trading a bit below. Because if I do get my stop loss below that area, it does put me at risk, especially when we've got news coming later. I think the best scenario would be if we can get like a random wick piercing through the high, the market comes back down, because then that would, liquidate orders above the high, and perhaps that would be the catalyst to give us the sell. So that would be a really nice touch if we could see that this afternoon, maybe from gold. But yeah, as long as we can hold that zone on the hourly chart, I've marked it here. Price support there, flipped as resistance. As long as that can maintain, that's a nice hourly close there as well. I do feel like we can push back to these support levels. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And depending how aggressive you want to be, depending on your risk reward, you got different levels to target. But yeah, from an intraday point of view, gold's still looking pretty bearish to me. No problem. Happy to help. USD, I'll take a look at that as well. Now go through silver as well. But yeah, USD looking pretty bullish. I was eyeing up this one before the stream started actually, because it did bring some interest to me. I've been pretty bearish on this pair, but we have been so corrective. So I've been kind of just putting my bearish bias in reserve for a little bit, because I do think we can see a bit of a rally here, especially with the fact that price has broken out of this trend line here as well. Not the cleanest breakout, but it's definitely closed above, which signals breakout. And if momentum can sustain, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up back at resistance here at 1.915. So it depends how you want to trade. You can, of course, look to buy breakouts. Not really my forte. I normally wait for retests. I don't normally look for retests of a trend line. It's normally a retest of support resistance. But breakouts are not a thing, so I think that's actually a nice opportunity for a trade actually. Your stop loss might be a bit big, so the risk reward might not be amazing. You're looking at a 1.43 RR, which is still good. Anything above a 1-to-1 is always going to interest me. So it's still not bad a risk reward, but I think that's a nice trade there. Taking it on the breakout, stops below the low, so giving yourself some room there to work with. Targets back at the next major high. Maybe you want to trail and see if maybe we continue higher as well. So that's a possibility. But I think that's a nice trade there. Very corrective behavior on the way down. So it does mean that a move to the upside is likely. Perhaps now that we've got the breakout, we could see that move. So yeah, I don't mind this opportunity for USD. I think if you're considering breakouts, it's actually not a bad trade idea. Not a bad trade idea at all. And an added bonus to the trade is that the trend is very much up on the higher time frames. I don't think, are we testing that trend line? No, not quite. But for the most part, the trend is still very much up. So there's a lot of confidence back in this trade. I'm still not confident that we do get back to the highs over there, 1.98167. Maybe we do, but I'm not quite confident we see that. But push back to the high here, I feel like we've got a reasonable good chance to see that happen as well. And it's a nice entry on the breakout. Like I said, not really an entry style I use, but I can see the sense in it, especially in this kind of scenario. It does make a lot of sense there. But in terms of going into the rest of the week. I think a lot of my focus will just be around the USD pairs right now. I think yen pairs, I kind of already want to be in a position. I feel like I've missed the boat with them. USD pairs, I feel like they haven't really started going yet. So pairs like dollar CAD, which can see some upside, I think there's an opportunity there to be had for some longs. I think Aussie dollar shorts is probably my favorite one, to be honest. Price action doesn't really back that up. It still looks very, very flat, but I do think we're likely to sell off at some point here. You can see the equal highs price is creating, solid resistance price is holding, but we are very, very flat, so it's not really giving me much of an entry signal. But the fact that we're failing at the highs, the fact that we're so corrective, we've been corrective since mid-April, yeah, I do think price can push down here, at least back to the low of the trend line, and maybe even I can catch the breakout. But I'll be happy with a push into the low of the trend line as well. So Aussie dollar shorts is definitely something I'm going to be looking to trade. Again, I'll wait for CPI to pass, see what happens. Maybe I missed the boat as well. CPI could give us the sell-off. If that's the case, that's the case. I'll move on to the next setup. But Aussie dollar shorts is definitely something I'm looking at. And I'm also looking at NZD USD as well. I feel like that's got a move to the downside in it as well. Very corrective on the way up. Looking very tiresome now. I do feel like we can spill over at some point too. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a good short for NZD USD, especially when we got support just below us there. So I'm not really seeing a good short unless, similar to UNZD, which we just spoke about, look for some entries on a breakout or we create a retest somewhere. But that's going to take a few days anyway. But yeah, NZD USD as well. I do feel like price can break lower. Hassan, Euro Pound. Yeah, Euro Pound for the most part still pretty bullish. Nothing's really changed there. Ever since we tapped into that bullish area of demand on the daily chart, being pretty bullish for Euro Pound. I was actually looking for a double bottom this week for an entry, but didn't quite see that happen. Now it looks like price is breaking resistance. So I'm not overly bullish on Euro Pound. I'm not necessarily looking for a swing back to the high here. I know there is some bullish structure, which looks like price is kind of falling right now. Maybe that does take us back to the high, but I'm not convinced. Euro Pound is a very choppy pair as a whole, as we can see there. So I'm not really looking to try and follow a trend or follow momentum for Euro Pound. I've tried to do that over a few trades. Doesn't really pan out too well. To trade Euro Pound is always better to buy low, sell high, take your profit at the next level. You can always leave runners to run. But taking your profit at significant levels is the best way to trade it because of how choppy it is. If it's a trending market, sure, looking for the bigger moves makes sense, but that isn't the case here. But yeah, it looks like Euro Pound is breaking resistance here. So 0.84491 looks like we are clearing resistance there. And yeah, I think that's the catalyst for more upside back into the high at 0.85200. So I do think we can see a bit more upside now for Euro Pound. And in terms of entries, I think that's the next best opportunity, really, a breaking test of the neckline. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline there. There's a bit of a dodgy drawing there, but you guys get the point. And push back to 0.85200 makes the most sense. So bullish would be the bias in Euro Pound. Opportunities on a breaking retest of 0.846. And I'll probably look to try and secure some profit at that level at the very least. There's nothing wrong with letting winners run. But conditions play a huge role. You're not going to try and let winners run in a choppy condition. Doesn't make much sense. You're much better to take your profit at the highs or at the lows. In trending market conditions, of course, letting winners run makes sense. This is not the trendiest of conditions, unfortunately. So yeah, that's kind of the best I've got for Euro Pound at the moment. And at the moment, Pound does still look a little bit weaker than Euro. Keep an eye on Pound USD. I think this market is also tired as well. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not really looking to try and buy Pound USD. Is because the market is still quite stretched. And we've been trending since the start of the year, 14th of Jan. Same kind of situation with most of the USD pairs. Euro has been, I don't mind Euro so much because if Euro can have a bit of a flush to the downside, take out some lows, it's still in the same situation in terms of it's been bullish since the start of Jan. But I like the idea because if I can get a sell-off here, I'm going to take out some of the buyers, early buyers, or late buyers, I should say, or early as well, and then come back to some fresh support, which we haven't been for a while. So I wouldn't mind the buys here for Euro because we're kind of coming to some fresh territory to then see the move. Whereas pound USD, I feel like everything's just squeezing into kind of like a bit of a bubble, which I'm expecting to pop soon. Same thing with Euro as well. Very corrective on the way up. We might still get back to the highs here, but I do think we'll have a bit of a sell pretty soon as well. That goes for pretty much all the USD pairs and the DXY too. This has been dropping since the start of the year, but we're becoming quite corrective now. Yes, we might still see some downside, but I would expect a pretty big move at some point in time. And I would still expect us to keep falling, really. I do have a long-term bearish bias on the dollar, but it doesn't mean we can't still see some meaningful up moves. But yeah, the market's still very flat. Of course, the news comes out in about, an hour and 45 minutes roughly. Let me double check. Yeah, hour 41 minutes. We've got the CPI coming out. No problem, Hassan. Happy to help. We've got the CPI coming out. And then tomorrow, we've got pound GDP, 7 a.m. Jobless claims, USD, 1:30 UK time as well. PPI as well. Is that 1:30? Yeah, 1:30 as well. And then Friday, Michigan consumer sentiment at 3. Not the biggest event in the world. The main one, of course, would be CPI later today. So that's kind of where my attention will be, just to see what happens with CPI. I'm not involved in any USD pairs at the moment, so the direct risk I'm exposed to is not that high. I mean, even with the position, I'm break even, so technically there is no risk really. Of course, you can still get slipped, but I don't think I will with Aussie CHF. And even if I do, not badly either, because it's a trade on the 4-hour chart, not like 5-minute. So I should be okay with that position. Hopefully, it can go my direction. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, I haven't taken many trades recently. The markets have been quite flat. Yen pairs haven't really been playing ball. USD pairs haven't really been playing ball. So I haven't really found many entries, to be honest. I haven't taken any trades this week so far. It's still only Wednesday. But I haven't really got the opportunity to place a trade this week. This is, of course, from last Friday, was it? No, last Tuesday. Where did I get Friday from? That was last Tuesday. All right, take care, D-Mart. Have a good one. We'll catch you hopefully tomorrow. Ooh. What happened there? Hopefully catch you tomorrow. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep an eye on the news today because there's no other. I mean, I do like Aussie dollar shorts, but I'm not gonna get any entries till after news anyway. And I'll only wait for a very good entry signal because things are very, very choppy in there. So when things are quite choppy like this, candlesticks sometimes they don't play a major role. And as someone who looks to utilize candlestick patterns for entries, it's very, very important that I stay precise and stay focused because I use bearish engulfing candles, bullish engulfing candles to take most of my entries. And of course, you can find those candlesticks everywhere. And if you look to trade every one of them, I don't think it will end too well. It's all about being picky and picking the better ones. So in this area where I'm seeing a lot of wicks, I need to look for characteristics that will actually invite me into the market that, okay, we're ready to sell. right now I'm not seeing any sign that we're ready to sell. I know we're seeing rejection here, but we're also seeing a lot of rejection here as well. So even if we'd see a candle that closes like this, that's still not doing it for me. What I'd want to see would be like maybe a wick to the high and then a strong close below. That would tell me that, okay, all the early sellers, goodbye, and now we're probably ready to push down. You know, that would be something that would interest me, especially taking into account how flat we've been. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll be waiting for Aussie dollar. Dollar CAD, I just need price to push a little bit lower, to be honest. I like how we're moving fatigued as well, but I want price to kind of push a little bit lower back into that consolidation before I do look to buy it. So that's what I'll be waiting for USD CAD. Then Euro USD, just waiting for a push down. So it's funny because I've got different biases for different USD pairs. So it's not like I'm just looking purely for USD weakness. I don't mind looking for some buys on the dollar CAD or some buys on Euro USD. Really, just depends which one sets up. Yusuf, close trades when their respective news come out. No, again, if I did that, I'll be walking away with leaving a lot of trades on the table, profit on the table, money on the table. Because if I close every time a news event comes out, which of course affects the currency pair, which makes sense. I'll be in and out of trades as a swing trader, and again, my better trades, my winning trades, could take anywhere between 2-3 days to potentially 2-3 weeks to play out. So in that time span, there's almost always guaranteed to be a news event that is correlated to the currency I'm trading. Might not necessarily be a major one like an interest rate, but there could be a CPI, there could be a PPI, there could be unemployment rate for the currency I'm trading. There's always going to be an event that is likely I'm going to encounter. But because I'm trading the 4-hour chart, naturally I have wider stops, going to have wider targets as well. I can stomach those news events mostly. I don't overtrade. I don't normally have many positions on at once, so I can hold through the news. If I was on an intraday time frame, like a 15-minute chart, then yeah, I probably would look to try and manage my trading close before, or at least see if I can get a nice stop loss into a bit of profit. So maybe it still allows me to capitalize on the winning trade if the news is in my favor, but if it doesn't, I still walk away with a small win with the trailed stop as well. So on the 50-minute chart, yeah, absolutely, I would look to do that. I would try and manage the trades on the time frames I'm trading. No, I would just leave it be. Like I said, I don't overtrade, I don't over risk. Everything is very managed. Worst case scenario, it doesn't go my way, I take a loss, I move on. Maybe I'm slipped a little bit as well, but it's never going to be very big. Dan, if the dollar becomes weaker, how will dollar yen act, since I'm also expecting the yen to become weaker? It just depends which is going to be the weaker currency. I mean, it's a good question because, of course, you've got a weak currency against a weak currency. So what's going to happen? Well, it simply depends on which currency is going to be the weaker one. And the chart will tell us. The chart will tell us. As a technical trade, the chart will tell us what is happening. If USD is going to be the weaker one, we should see price pushing down, of course. I've already got my plan mapped out for dollar yen, which is just focus on these two levels here. And that's where I want to base trades from. So even if we are selling off aggressively, that doesn't really mean too much to me until we get to this level. And likewise, if we're going to push up, it doesn't mean too much to me until we get to this level. So that's really where my focus is. But in terms of gauging what dollar yen is going to do, the price will tell you. If we're seeing price breaking structure lower, momentum heading lower, then of course USD is weaker than the yen. Of course, look at other corresponding pairs as well. So gauge what other yen pairs are doing, because the yen pairs 90% of the time they're going to do the same thing. They're either going to trend up together or trend down. So if you're seeing dollar yen falling, but you're seeing every other yen pair going up, well, maybe be a bit cautious looking to sell dollar yen. at least from a swing perspective. You can get away from intraday trade, kind of riding that momentum. But if the other yen pairs are still pushing higher, there's a good chance dollar yen is going to eventually turn around and follow the other yen pairs higher as well. So I would say keep an eye on the other currencies because they can help determine your bias or help confirm your bias if you should be bullish or bearish. But from a technical setup, I'm just waiting to see what we do at these levels. Regardless of what happens with USD, regardless of what happens with yen, these are the areas which I'm looking to operate on. But yeah, it's a good question because, of course, you've got two weak currencies. And sometimes if it is two weak currencies together, things might get a bit choppy because they might not necessarily be an out. One that's a lot weaker than the other. They might kind of just consolidate, kind of like what they're doing now. If that's the case, then just leave the pair alone. There's no point to waste your time and effort when you're not really seeing much come from the pair. If they're kind of just going sideways. But I do still fancy a weak yen as well. I mean, I'm looking at the yen basket. I think this has still got room to fall. I still think we can push down to 6,600 there. It's not a massive move I'm expecting. It's just a little bit more downside, which could take a day or two for us to get there. For the most part, though, we are starting to come back and do some major support. So in terms of weakness, long term, I'm not quite there yet on on the yen. In terms of, am I expecting price to break support here, or am I expecting price to potentially test the support, maybe play around a little bit, then turn around and be bullish? I'm not quite sure yet. So my time horizon for my bias for the yen is bearish for now. But yeah, long term I'm not too sure. So I'm kind of just waiting for more evidence. And same thing with the dollar as well. I'm still looking for a push back into the low here, but that's only a short-term move. And what I want to see is a push up first before we do push down. And hopefully that'll allow me some opportunities to get involved. So yeah, our focus would just be see what happens with the USD pairs. There's a couple of other pairs I'm looking at, like New Zealand CAD. I'll still keep an eye on for the longs. I still like this one to the upside, but I need to push down first. I still like Aussie CAD for the longs as well. Still need to push back down to the lows here. If I'm going to get a trade, I like this support level here for a buy. Hopefully swing it back into the highs there as well. A big swing trades on the cards there. Of course, I'm trading Aussie CHF, so I'm just managing that position. And yeah, those are the main pairs I would say. I was looking at a lot of the yen pairs to short, but they didn't really provide anything. Euro yen broke to the upside through that resistance. Pound yen hasn't broken, but I do think we will break, so I'm more focused on the longs here. CHF JPY didn't really do much either. I mean, still at the level, so it could still potentially react there, but for the most part, still looking pretty bullish there as well. So a solid break above that. Yeah, could see very much a buy opportunity there too. So I'm going to have to be patient, wait for the yen to make its move, and then look to follow opportunities beyond that. But yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at right now. Like I said, USD is, of course, the talk of the town right now, so that's where the focus will be for now anyway. And I'll make my mind up. I think Aussie dollar's the one that looks the most likely, so that's where my focus will be. If I do get into an opportunity, I'll let you guys know. Again, join the Discord. It is linked in the description below. I do share some of my ideas there, some of the opportunities I'm looking to trade. So if you are interested, want to discuss, check it out. It is linked in the description below and also at the top of the chat. You can't miss it. But yeah, guys, I will be live again tomorrow, as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you are free during those hours, pop in, come say hi, chat with us. Discuss some charts, have a laugh, and have a good time. If you did find the stream useful today, guys, enjoyed it, informative, educational, anything remotely positive, please be sure to drop a like. It does really help out the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and of course hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in to another stream. Have a great day, and I will catch you all in the next one.